A solar project so big that it could light up entire countries in Asia, all powered by the Australian desert sun. Sounds amazing, doesn't it? But here's the surprising part. This bold plan almost fell apart before it even started. In today's video, we'll explore the intriguing story behind Australia's huge solar plan for Asia and tackle the key question: what nearly caused this promising project to fail? Stay tuned with this video to know more. This map shows the best locations globally for solar and wind energy. Some areas are naturally better suited for one or both forms of renewable energy. Sharing this clean energy across borders rather than keeping it within a single country could be more efficient. This is enabled by interconnectors, high voltage cables that transport electricity between locations, sometimes bidirectionally. Interconnectors allow countries to trade cleaner, cheaper renewable energy with neighbors, benefiting all involved. Europe has built a network of interconnectors enabling renewable energy trading based on demand. Regions like the Baltic and Black Seas have significant untapped wind power potential that could be harnessed through further interconnector development. However, countries with high demand for energy like Poland and Germany don't have enough of their own renewable resources. By connecting these regions, clean energy from windy areas could be sent to where it's needed most, something that wouldn't be possible without interconnectors. This concept is crucial in our global shift to clean energy. According to experts like the International Energy Agency, while we're getting better at producing renewable energy, it is not as useful if we can't transport it to where it's needed. Could the dream of a supergrid, an electricity network spanning the globe, become a reality, or is it just wishful thinking? Some groups are even dreaming of a supergrid, a worldwide network of interconnectors that could send electricity across the globe. However, this idea is still in its early stages, and no clear plans exist to make it happen on such a large scale. For now, smaller projects connecting countries and regions are helping shape the future of global energy. These projects not only help share clean energy, but also make renewable investments more attractive. Georgie Skipper, a former executive leader at Sun Cable, highlights the opportunity, saying, "Australia has both the opportunity and responsibility to supply power to other markets that need it. But is Australia ready to take on this crucial role?" Sun Cable, an ambitious Australian company funded by David Griffin, was created with exactly that purpose in mind. What is their goal? To tap into Australia's abundant solar and wind resources and deliver the clean energy to markets in the Asia-Pacific region. The company's plans were monumental, almost hard to believe. They aim to build a solid farm with a massive 20-gigawatt capacity in Australia's Northern Territory. To put that into perspective, that's nearly 6 times the size of the world's largest solar farm today. But that wasn't all. The next step in this grand vision was to get all that energy from Australia to Singapore. To do this, Sun Cable would lay 3 submarine cables over a 4,300-kilometer route stretching from Darwin through Indonesian waters all the way to Singapore. This would require over 12,000 kilometers of high-voltage cables, an impressive feat considering that the longest existing undersea cable today is just 750 kilometers. However, while building solar panels and batteries is already a challenge, manufacturing the necessary cables proved to be even more difficult. What are the reasons behind this? Most of the world's cable manufacturers, primarily based in Europe, were already overwhelmed with supplying cables for the European market. Sun Cable faced the issue of needing thousands of kilometers of cable, but there wasn't enough available to meet their demands. In response, Sun Cable made a bold decision. They would manufacture the cables themselves. They announced plans to build a manufacturing plant in Tasmania to produce the required high-voltage cables. But building a cable factory is no simple task. These facilities require a high level of operational expertise and advanced technology, and it can take years to get them up and running. The total estimated cost of Sun Cable's Australia-Asia Powerlink project was a staggering $23 billion, with experts suggesting that the final price tag could be even higher. Despite the enormous challenges, Sun Cable was making steady progress. By 2019, they had secured the backing of 2 of Australia's richest investors, Michael Cannon-Brookes and Andrew Forrest. By the end of 2022, they had completed marine surveys in Australian waters and mapped more than 2/3 of the cable route through Indonesian waters. They had even begun negotiations with major cable manufacturers like Prysmian and Hellenic to help build their factory in Tasmania. The company was on track to start producing cables in 2023 with the goal of delivering solar power to Singapore by 2027. However, in January of 2023, Sun Cable's progress came to a sudden halt. Reports emerged that one of the company's key investors, Andrew Forrest, was unhappy with the direction of the project. He clashed with the other major investor, Michael Cannon-Brookes, over what the company's priorities should be. This internal conflict led to doubts about one of the most critical aspects of the entire project, the submarine cable itself. With tensions rising between the investors, the future of Sun Cable became uncertain. In the bigger picture, Sun Cable's story underscores the complexities of scaling up renewable energy to meet global demand. It's not just about generating clean energy, it's also about figuring out how to transport it to where it's needed, overcoming logical and technological hurdles along the way. Australia's vast solar resources hold incredible promise, but by turning that promise into reality will require innovative thinking, collaboration, and most importantly, perseverance. One of the biggest hurdles for massive projects like Sun Cable's interconnector is getting all the involved countries to trust the process. If one country decides to say no or delay, the entire project could fall apart. It's no surprise that countries are cautious about this kind of infrastructure, especially when we've seen how badly things can go wrong when relying on long-distance energy sharing. Take the Nord Stream pipeline, for example. In 2021, it supplied around 17% of the European Union's natural gas flowing from Russia to Germany. But when Russia shut it down, Europe was left scrambling to find new energy sources for the winter. Russia blamed the closure on a combination of Western sanctions over the Ukraine invasion and an attack that damaged the pipeline. Whatever the reason, the lesson was clear. Relying too much on one energy source from a single place can be risky. If something goes wrong, it can leave countries in a vulnerable position. For small nations like Singapore, that risk is particularly alarming. In 2021, Singapore had a real energy scare when Malaysia, its neighbor, suddenly banned all exports of renewable energy. Singapore had been planning to phase out gas as its main energy source and switch to more renewables, but Malaysia's decision threw a wrench in those plans. The ban meant that Singapore had to rethink its entire energy strategy, and it highlighted how dangerous it can be for a country to rely on energy imports from a single source. This is why Sun Cable's plan to supply 15% of Singapore's electricity needs using solar energy from Australia suddenly started to feel a lot riskier. What if Australia decided to cut off power for some reason? Or what if the submarine cable that passes through other countries' waters got damaged or sabotaged? Energy security is a major concern for every country, and situations like this bring up important questions. Securing energy on a large scale comes with challenges, including the risks of cyber attacks, physical damage, or other disruptions that could cut off power. While projects like Sun Cable offer potential for clean energy and international cooperation, they also highlight the complexity of energy security. Trust between nations, reliable infrastructure, and backup plans are crucial for the long-term success of such projects. So the current plan is to send power to Darwin by the 2030s with hopes of reaching Singapore later. Yet the project still faces significant hurdles, needing approval from various governments and investors for this never-before-attempted scale. Hey, we hope you liked today's video. If so, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to our channel.